My name is Darren. I want to tell you guys a story for one of my experiences for this past weekend. I went on vacation, a weekend trip, and it was literally, I will never forget this experience. It was horrible. So let me tell you the story. So about 2 weeks before, a friend invited me to go fishing, and I was like, awesome! And I thought, wow, this guy is an avid fisherman. I'm more like, we'll probably be going on the bay and an island somewhere, maybe. He was like, no, 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 deep sea fishing. I was like, wow, that is rare. I've had some experience, but not often. So I took up that opportunity. I was looking for swordfish, big tray fish, the big honkers that you really have to reel in, the huge ones. You go on a huge boat, and he's like, I'm invited? And I said, how much? And he said, no, it's free. You're my friend. No worries. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I could not wait for this trip. I was so excited. So we got there, and it was about 9 in the morning to 6 at night. You would fish, or you'd travel, and then from about 10, I don't know, maybe like 36 hours the whole time, we'd go and stay on the boat, obviously, all night. So I was so ready for this. So we all get there. It's about 7 o'clock. We have our food, our clothes, we pack everything into the boat. There were 7 people total, and some of them I didn't know, but there were 3 deaf and 4 hearing. I knew the few of the deaf people, and one of the deaf men knew some of the guys pretty well, but I didn't really know anyone, and they seemed nice. So one of them was the captain, and the other was the skipper. He was a mechanic. He actually was a marinist, or worked on boats. So I thought, everything's going to be fine. It'll be perfect. So we're sitting and waiting, and we finally leave. And we start moving, and everything seems fine. About 30, 40 feet of water. Boat's moving. Not rocking, really, no. Just, kind of cruising along. I was so excited. I kept dreaming of these huge swordfish flying through the air and me reeling it in. I could feel it. I was so ready. Then the boat started going off, about 80 to 100 miles. I have never experienced anything like that. Typically, I'm offshore, maybe about 20 to 50 miles max, and 80 to 100 miles offshore. Geez, that was my first time experiencing that, but I trusted them. So, he puts the throttle down a little bit more to 40, and, we're cruising along, no big deal. And I thought, well, he's the captain. He knows what he's doing. We'll arrive 2 hours, 3 hours, but we kept going and going, maybe like 6 hours later, and I'm like, come on, let's go. I want to go fishing. But once again, it's the captain, so I let him do it. It's his boat, and it was free, mind you, so I didn't complain. So I just sat there chatting, Some of them were drinking, and I had a little bit, but I didn't really want a ton. But so the 3 of us, some of us are really good friends. We grew up together, and then it's about midnight. It is pitch black out there, and the boat kind of starts to stop. The oil ring comes up about 40 or 50 miles, and you see some lights flashing. All you can see is stars above you, maybe. Kind of rocking if you look up, and I kind of liked it. I didn't think much of it. And the boat had these 4 bars that stuck up from it. There were maybe 4 in the front, and 2 things connecting the pole that would go up to it. It was about 3 kilometers or propellers, and they would kind of spin in the back. And they were rocking back and forth, and I was getting even more excited. I really wanted to see a swordfish, but remember, my philosophy for fishing is different than their philosophy. A little bit of a rookie, but hey, it's free once again, so we get there, and I'm getting a little bored at this point in time. But so we start to get everything out, and I thought, yeah, finally, oil ring down where you get the fish and the red snapper and the kingfish and different kinds of fish. Pretty good meat, so just bring them home. And then they passed them and kept going further and further, 80 miles. One of my friends who's deaf, who knows the other 4 hearing guys, said, shouldn't we be going fishing now, starting at the bottom? Typically that's what happens at nighttime, and they're like, no, don't worry about it, it's alright. And I was like, idiot, but whatever, I just didn't complain. Maybe it's the first night, maybe in the morning we'll do something. And so I was stuck on wanting to find a swordfish. The 4 hearing people were like, whatever, chatting away, doing their thing. All night passed. 24 hours, mind you. I went into the cabin of the boat, and there were about 3 sections there. In the back, it was open for fishing. In the middle was like a little room that was available. In the front, went more towards the front and kind of made a point. That was the captain's room. He typically slept in there. So remember, the back was out, and so it was basically outside. So I fell asleep. It had a satellite TV. It was so nice. I watched football, and I don't know, I just kept checking to see if the fish was or the pole was going down, and then after a while I was like, no luck, this is such a bummer. I'm exhausted. I've been watching for 24 hours, back and forth, and the boat started becoming a little bit more worse as we went on, but we were in a huge boat, so probably about 50 feet. It was big. So there was no issue with the time, and I didn't think it would be dangerous or anything, but, I ended up falling asleep. And then it was about midnight to, I don't know, I slept a lot. But still, I was excited about the fishing process. In the back of the boat where it's open, you can walk down to see the engine and the propellers turning and everything. And the generator. There's a red generator and the green. So I was looking around in there. I sat there and kind of saw everything going, and then it opened, generator opened, and something kept kind of popping up. And I started smelling some smoke as I was asleep, and I woke up and I was like, hey, everybody, I think something's smoking. And they're like, oh, it's a hot engine. It's whatever. It's just from the heat. All right, fine. Went back to sleep. It became worse and worse. I kept smelling the smoke, and so I opened up all the windows and kind of let it air out. The engine had a burnout. It had the bad oil and everything bubbling over and whatnot. I was like, I told him, "You guys, something's wrong." So I turned it off. Now it's running on one engine. Only one engine. Oh, we're lucky that we had that one, but... So, it's about midnight. 2 hours later, I am tired, so I go back to bed again. And I'm sleeping. And I'm startled by the boat rocking like crazy. And I open up the engine part again. And there's this steering wheel type of thing. A little bulb that controlled it. And that broke. So the boat is out of control. We don't know what to do. We're turning the steering wheel, but you can't control it. There's no control over the boat at all. And I woke up to notice maybe like 80 or 90 feet, and we are rocking back and forth. So we reel all the fishing lines in. The captain opens it up, everything. We wait for 2 hours. Finally, kind of the steering goes back on. We get that all fixed. And we're crashing against the waves, mind you. It took about 4 hours to fix everything. So, probably about 4 o'clock. And the front was really cold. Maybe like 400 miles per hour the wind was going. And we are rocking 40 miles per hour, sorry. Waves are crashing over onto the ship. And I'm like, this is enough. We can't be fishing anymore. You know, we've tried. We're not getting anything. Let's just go back. I don't feel comfortable. I'm like, man, I really wish we could have caught one, a swordfish. You know, those different reels that we had out, and like nothing. Maybe they're just stubborn fish, and it's like, oh well, we're just wasting more and more time, but whatever. So let's just go home. About 3 at night, and all of a sudden, again, we're rocking back and forth. And that time, it was about 3 or 4. It becomes 10 or 12 feet. You know how it was 3 or 4 feet before waves? 10 or 12. The moon, we're literally not being able to see it and then seeing it again. And so it was just literally crazy. They were out of control. Rocking everywhere. It was literally insane. Water was rushing onto the boat. Some of them were sleeping and falling off the beds and rolling back and forth. We put everything back in, all the debris, and we put it into like a safe area, and then it's filled up, and that whole back area starts. So I'm trying to go back to sleep. My head is rocking every which way. It's out of control. I am just not comfortable. I don't know. I didn't sleep at all. So I go back in. I try to fix the generator. Oh, before I forgot to put water in. And then it's overheated. So it broke down. So we pour some water in. In about 2 hours, I'm sleeping. And then, all of a sudden, the light goes on. You know, remember we only have one kind of engine, and that the light power was off, and the TV is off. Everything's off. There's no power stealing. The engine, electricity is off. Nothing. But one motor's still going, fighting for his life, fighting against those waves, and there were waves coming left and right, and people were going everywhere. It was so dark at night, you couldn't see anything. It was out of control, really. So after that's all finished, we go and try to fix the generator, and we think, I didn't hook it 11 feet deep. And you can't. What do you do for that? How do you control the boat? And, we're over 100 feet deep, and it won't go that way. So how are we supposed to control that and go against the water and the wind? The water's pushing us one way, the wind is another way. So how do we resist that? Finally, I help this man, and we start to wrap things up. And this guy is experienced, so I trusted him. He said, "Can you turn that off?" So I turn it off the boat. And then the machine, the engine, you kind of feel it. No. Neutral. He didn't understand, the clock, and it said, or the compass. It's a little bit out of control. You just need it in neutral. That means you don't turn the motor on, the steering will lock. So we're trying maybe 400, 500 pounds total. It was really hard. So all of us, everything is out of control. Then all of a sudden it starts to get caught up and wrapped around. And so we still are kind of stuck, and the generator's fixed and the steering's fixed finally, and I was like, well, let's go home, hurry up. And then this guy, he's had so much experience with boating before, so I figured I would trust him. So I went under, and I didn't understand really what I was supposed to do. Things are bashing against my head, scratching, there's blood everywhere. He's trying to fix things underneath where all the water is. And then he had a life jacket, and I kind of reel him back in. He'd go and flop against everything. It was a mess. And I finally said, enough. There were some scratches, not bad. Some bruises too from banging against the top of the boat. And there was lighting underneath there as well, and he was like, come on, don't worry about it, let's go. And I felt kind of awkward because, we're 80 to 90 feet out, and now it's 9 in the morning, and the sun's starting to rise, and the wind is becoming worse and worse, and the waves are spraying everywhere, huge waves, rocking us back and forth. It was seriously crazy. Waves side by side in front of us everywhere. We were tossling. We were being thrown around like rag dolls. And it was horrible. And so I said, code gold. And they called. Just wanted to let you guys know about 5 hours for him to finally come and get us. We went full speed back in there. We're waiting, and we're getting tossed around, and the sun is hot. I'm thirsty. I'm sweating. It's out of control. Literally hate it. The boat is still rocking. Water is going over top of us, and we're seeing the tops of the waves, and we're just, I don't know, we're out of control. But I kept thinking, these are intense fishermen. They can handle this. That one can handle about 20 feet. maybe 50 feet, but now we're out like 60 feet. And these waves are literally tossing us everywhere. I don't even know what to do. I can see them becoming a little paranoid. Some of them are staying pretty cool, but don't worry about it. But I just felt not right about this. It was about 12, 15, not, and then there wasn't enough. But I was literally worried. I had had enough. I was really excited to get back. My heart was going crazy. We're waiting to get kind of brought back in. So we throw the boat back out about 40 feet. Remember, I've been out 50, and these people are strong. They're specialists. These machines are strong too, these engines. It took us about 30 minutes. So 10 or 11 hours to get back. Once again, we're crashing against the waves like crazy. And then all of a sudden, we couldn't get it connected, so we tried to get back to the other line. We're rushing against it, and it broke. And then we tried to do another one, and we tried to line it up and kind of, outweigh the waves and kind of get in when we can. And we're going everywhere. People are falling, bumping their elbows, bruised everywhere. My wrists are killing me, but I almost lost my hat 2 times. The wind kind of blew it. I'm lucky enough. That's my lucky hat, and I love that hat. I've had it for 12 years, and it kept flying, and just my luck, and finally, we got in. It was a little more calm, and we sailed right into the bay and pulled in and parked, and I kind of looked around and was like, wow. And I just experienced my own perfect storm. Interesting. Wow. That fishing experience is literally horrible. The worst one I've ever had. Why would you ever go on a fishing trip if you don't know what they're doing? Oh, well, this boat was from the 1980s. And all those lies or the fishermen had all of these lies that they kept telling me. And, my back, my neck, it was horrible. Anyway, that was a horrible wave, horrible experience. But my point is, you need to respect Mother Nature, or else she'll get you.